Okay, let's get into this, the very beginning. How did humans first appear, according to this particular story?
Right. It's a fundamental question.
And forget, billions of years for a moment. This narrative jumps right in. Adam and Eve.
Hmm.
Their origin story happens, well, really fast.
Yeah, it's framed very directly. We're looking at a video, The Snake, the Fruit, and the Fall, the true story of Adam and Eve from the Divine Heroes YouTube channel.
And it lays out this specific sequence of creation.
Exactly. Our goal here is just to understand this version, the events, the key players, how it unfolds according to the source.
So put other stories aside for now. This one starts big. The 6 days of creation, day 1, boom, light.
Just like that. Light appears, darkness is pushed back, day and night are set up. It's the absolute foundation.
The first layer, then day 2.
Day 2 brings the sky. The source uses this nice image like unfolding a big, soft blue blanket. And crucially, this is when waters get separated. You have the oceans below described with big, sparkling waves, and then waters above the sky. It's like building the world's basic structure.
Right, setting the stage.
Yeah.
And day 3 feels like when things really take shape on the ground.
That's a good way to put it. Dry land emerges, mountains, valleys, beaches, all of that.
But not just bare rock, right?
No, not at all. Straight away you get plants. Grass, and these really vivid flowers. It mentions roses, daisies, tulips specifically.
Colorful.
Very. And fruit trees too, apples, bananas, oranges. You almost get the sense of abundance immediately. And the source makes a point of saying God saw this and called it good.
That word good keeps popping up.
It does. It's a refrain. Then day 4, our focus shifts upwards. The sun, moon, planets, stars.
Ah, the celestial bodies.
Yeah. And the stars are described as being like glitter tossed into the air. It kind of gives you that sense of wonder, doesn't it?
Makes you feel small. Like, have you ever tried counting them? Pointless.
Exactly. So day 5 brings movement, brings life to the water and air.
Okay, so filling the spaces.
Right. Oceans get filled with everything from tiny goldfish to huge whales, dolphins, crabs, loads of variety. And the skies fill up too, eagles, hummingbirds, parrots, owls. Suddenly the world isn't silent anymore.
You've got sounds, activity.
Precisely. It's moving from static creation to dynamic life. And that leads us to day 6.
The final day of creation in this sequence.
Yep. This is when land animals appear. Again, huge variety: lions, tigers, elephants, horses, monkeys, even sloths, bunnies, kittens, and worms.
Wow, quite the list.
And the source emphasizes that every single one, big or small, was special, which kind of sets the stage for the main event of day 6.
Which is Adam.
Exactly, Adam. But not born, formed, made directly from the ground, like a sculpture.
That's a powerful image, clay, sort of.
Yeah. And then the breath of life breathed right into his nose. Very intimate, very direct.
And this Adam isn't like a baby. He's fully formed.
Right. The source says tall, strong, handsome, like a 20-year-old, basically, and incredibly smart, already knowing secrets of the world.
Super intelligent from moment 1. Wow.
It really highlights his uniqueness, and he can talk to animals.
Talk to them.
Yeah. The source mentions him naming them, like the giraffe and the turtle, so he's actively engaging with this creation.
But even with all that, something's missing for him.
Apparently, yes. Loneliness. All the animals have partners, but he's alone, which leads directly to Eve.
Okay, so Eve's creation is different.
Totally different. No dust this time. God makes Adam fall into this deep sleep, takes one of his ribs, and forms Eve from that.
The rib story. It's probably the most famous part.
It's very iconic. And Adam's reaction when he wakes up and sees her, he just says she's perfect.
Instant connection.
Seems like it. And her name, Eve, means life because she's going to be the mother of, well, everyone. They're described as just being really happy together initially.
So they've got each other, this amazing world, and they live in the Garden of Eden.
That's their home base. Described as the best garden ever. Just overflowing with fruit trees, amazing flowers, sparkling streams fed by 4 rivers. Pure paradise, basically.
Sounds idyllic. And the animals are all peaceful.
Completely. Lions hanging out with lambs, that kind of thing. Total harmony between humans and animals.
But there's a catch, isn't there?
There's always one rule, it seems. Amidst all this, yes, there's one no. Don't eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Why not? What's the reasoning given?
God's warning, according to the source, is that they're not ready for that knowledge. It would bring sadness, sorrow. It's framed almost like a protective measure.
Okay. Protecting their innocence, maybe?
Perhaps, but then the serpent arrives.
Ah, the famous serpent. And this isn't just any snake.
No, the source says it was sneaky, could talk, and apparently even had arms and legs back then.
Arms and legs, that's different.
It's a specific detail in this version, and this serpent goes straight to Eve and starts questioning God's rule.
Casting doubt.
Exactly. Eve initially holds her ground, repeats the rule, don't eat, don't even touch it, or you'll die. She even mentions the fig tree specifically.
So she knows the stakes.
She seems to, but the serpent just flat out denies it, says, you won't die.
The opposite message.
Right. And then adds the temptation, if you eat it, you'll be like God, knowing everything. He suggests God is holding out on them.
Ooh, that's clever. Undermining trust.
Very manipulative. The source says the serpent actually nudges Eve towards the tree, and she touches it, and nothing happens immediately.
Ah, so that might make her think the serpent's right.
It could have lowered her guard, yeah, and then she takes a bite, likes it, gives them to Adam.
And Adam eats it too, just like that.
He eats it too, and bam, instant change.
What happened?
This immediate feeling of embarrassment, shame. They suddenly realize they're naked and scramble to make coverings out of fig leaves. Innocence gone.
Wow, a really sudden shift.
Very sudden. And then they hear God. He calls out to them.
And they hide.
They try to hide, yeah. They're ashamed. When they finally come out, God asks the obvious question, did you eat the fruit?
The moment of truth.
And what happens? Classic human reaction, according to this story. The blame game.
Oh boy.
Adam blames Eve. The woman you gave me, she gave it to me.
Ouch. Passing the buck.
Totally. And Eve. She blames the serpent. The serpent tricked me.
Nobody takes responsibility.
Not initially, no. Which leads to the consequences. God lays them out.
Okay, what are they?
The serpent gets it first, cursed to crawl on its belly forever, lose its limbs.
So that explains the arms and legs detail earlier.
Right, it connects. For Adam and Eve, the big one is banishment from Eden.
Kicked out of paradise.
Yep. And life outside will be hard.
Yeah.
Adam will have to work the ground, struggle for food. Eve will face pain in childbirth. It's a total contrast to the ease of the garden.
A harsh reality check.
It is. But the source adds that even while delivering this judgment, God still promises to watch over them. There's still a thread of care.
So it's not complete abandonment.
Doesn't seem like it. And life does go on outside the garden. They start a family. We hear about Cain and Abel.
The first children. Cain's a farmer, Abel's a shepherd, right?
That's right. And their story introduces another layer of trouble. They both make offerings to God.
Okay. What happens?
Abel offers a lamb, and it's accepted. The source mentions fire coming down from heaven, but Cain offers crops, and his offering isn't accepted in the same way.
Uh-oh. That sounds like a recipe for conflict.
Big time. Cain gets incredibly jealous, angry, and it leads to tragedy. He hurts Abel badly.
The first violence.
Within the family, yeah. It's a really dark turn. God is saddened, and Cain is punished, further doomed to wander the earth.
Man, things escalate quickly outside the garden.
They really do. But the story doesn't end on that note. Adam and Eve have another son, Seth, and the source positions Seth as the one who carries forward God's plan, the hope for the future.
Okay, so a continuation.
Yeah.
And the source mentions something about lifespans.
Yeah, this is interesting. People lived incredibly long back then, according to this telling. Hundreds of years.
Like how long?
Potentially 1,000 years initially for Adam and Eve. There's even this specific side story about Adam giving 70 years of his own life to save a baby.
Giving years of his life.
Yeah, who would grow up to be King David, a major figure later on. Because of this gift, Adam ends up living 930 years instead of the full 1,000.
Wow, that's a long time. And quite a story.
It connects this origin story to later history within the narrative. But the overall takeaway from Adam and Eve, as presented here, it's about learning from mistakes.
Making bad choices, but having a chance to try again.
Kind of, yeah. And the importance of love, caring for each other, even after messing up.
So we went from nothing to a full world in 6 days, paradise, temptation, the fall, and the start of, well, human history with all its complications. That's quite the journey.
It really is. This deep dive into the Divine Heroes video gives us one very specific, detailed picture of how things began and the introduction of core human experiences: choice, consequence, love, jealousy, loss.
All right, so thinking about this story, this version of the first choices ever made, what does it make you wonder about being human today? What resonates?
That's a great question to ponder. You know, what parts of that ancient story, innocence, knowledge, mistakes, family struggles, still feel relevant in our own lives?
Definitely food for thought. And if this specific story has piqued your interest, It might be really fascinating to look into other creation narratives, too.
Hmm.
There's so many different ways cultures have tried to answer that big question, where did we come from?